Hey, Jeanette, how's it going?
It's good. How are you, Ryan?
Doing phenomenal. Life is great.
Nice. Thanks for doing this for us today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we have I think we have 17 signups, so I'm gonna give
Amazing.
a few minutes for more people to trickle in.
Yeah. I'm going to be leading a webinar next Monday that's going to have 2,000 people, and we talk for about 10 minutes just kind of waiting. Blah, blah, blah.
That's
So
a lot.
it
Yeah,
is a lot. Yeah, it's really
that's
fun.
exciting. That's very exciting.
I'm eager to hear your intro and to watch your presentation too. This is good for all of
Awesome.
us to learn about.
Yeah, I'm excited to show you guys how I've been using it, and some ideas for things that you might not have thought about. Have
Great.
you gotten Claude Code yet? Have you tried it?
No.
Okay. This might motivate you too.
Right. That's what I'm hoping for.
How's it going, Robert?
Living the dream, feeling dumb.
Love it.
I was trying last night to get some PowerPoint slides made, somewhat autonomously based on
Yes.
something I had used in the past with other college courses. And yeah, it didn't work as well. Certainly didn't.
No?
I wound up going to chat saying what would be my thing. And like, okay, I kind of like the content. And then I moved it over to Copilot thinking, okay, it's Microsoft should be. And then it didn't. Said, so I wound up cutting and pasting through an existing template from the university, and like, okay, I can take that. I'm like, yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to where it needs to be.
No, you gotta try Claude Code.
That's what I
It'll
heard.
do everything you
Well, I'm
want. Nice to see you, Andrada. Thanks for joining
Nice
us.
to see you, Ryan. Hi, how are you doing?
Doing very well. Doing very
Excellent.
well.
I'm very
Professor
excited.
Ragland, how's it going? Long time no
Sorry.
see. Oh, I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
I'm wondering where he is, where he can wear a fleece.
I know. He's
No, you're
doing
still
something.
muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Sometimes it's a matter of rejoining.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get started in 2 minutes, no matter how many people have joined, and then I'm going to record it, and I will send you guys all the recording, and I'll send it to everyone else that signed up in case they miss it.
All right, I'm in, I think.
Hey, yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
And Robert, for the record, I built this presentation in less than 10 minutes. I basically pointed it at my website and said, use the theming. And then I pointed it at my vision and the general structure that I wanted this workshop to go. And it built out everything beautifully.
I got to talk to my boss about getting access to Claude then.
I know it's an uphill battle.
You can use your rats, I understand, but I haven't done it yet.
Andrada, have you used Claude Code before?
Yes, I have. I'd say I've just like scratched the surface with it. Some lead grading, some personalization, which was brilliant to do.
Awesome.
Also did co-work, integrated with Applify to get me some leads. And that's about it. Like, top of the stuff. Yeah. For now, that's it. So that's why I was interested to join this to see how you've used it, but also you and I are meeting to go through the platform, which sounds very interesting to me. I'm always looking to. I'm running a SaaS marketing agency. I do lead gen for SaaS for everybody to know, because I don't think we've done the rounds. So I'm doing that, and I think your platform can be potentially helpful at some point. So I'm always looking to get to see what's out there and how we can innovate the service we do for our clients.
Phenomenal. Sounds great. I'm excited to have that conversation.
Same, yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get started. If more people trickle in, I'll just let them in. Today we will be talking about Claude Code, and I'm going to make an argument for you guys to all use it, both in your personal lives, in business, in sales, everything. I have become quite obsessed with using it in my day-to-day life. I use it for all my personal projects. I use it for all my business projects. Whenever I want to create a presentation, whenever I want to absorb data, I use Claude Code. And the one thing that I want to talk to you guys about first is the mindsets to use Claude Code with. If you've used AI, which I'm sure you're all using AI every single day, it's kind of like getting underwater breathing powers. And then if you're stuck in a web interface, in a chat interface with AI, it's kind of like getting water breathing powers and being stuck in a submarine. Like, yes, you can go see the sights, you can go travel through the area, but you have water breathing powers. So you can, get out of the web chat and fully tap into the true potential, the true power of AI by giving it direct access to files, file manipulation, internet research, etc. So the first mindset shift that I want to talk about is how to think about Claude Code. It's really like if you could hire a junior developer full-time, 24/7 for the next month for $20. And that is the first pitch that I'll make to you, is that if you're not using it as a personal assistant to build things for you, to make your life easier, to build out little automations that maybe you don't think that AI can achieve yet, I'm telling you it can, and you should take a swing at it. So it's like a very fast junior engineer. You own the vision, it owns the implementation. Context is oxygen, and parallelism is the superpower. So today I'm going to fire up 4 agents in parallel. We're going to see what they can do. I'm going to do them some in a personal context, some in a professional context. And over the course of this workshop, I'm also going to walk through how you guys can get it on your computer, how I would start a Claude Code instance to start working on a project. I will show you some of the personal projects that I've done with Claude Code to give you kind of an idea of, to expand your brainstorming about what it could potentially be used for. And then at the end, we will review what Claude Code actually achieved during the course of the workshop. And then I'll open up for questions and, a conversation at the end for you guys to maybe brainstorm a bit. So I actually disagree with this. If it would take a solid junior 2 to 4 hours, Claude Code can usually do it to 70–90% in 20 minutes. I would say it's more like what a junior could do in an entire day can be achieved in 10 minutes. Part of the miss of a junior engineer would be, a junior developer would be, they'd have to go research how to do it. Whereas Claude Code already knows how to do it, and it just needs to, think about it for a while and actually implement. So here we go. I'm going to launch these 4 background instances. And like I said to Robert at the start of this, I came up with this entire PDF in less than 10 minutes just by telling it my ideas. I gave Claude Code, I said, let's do 4, instances of Claude Code. I want a sales SOP proposal creator. I want one that can analyze my CRM and display some data for us. I want to build a video game, and I want kind of an operations management app to, help me manage my business operations through a lightweight dashboard. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my files. I'm going to create a new folder, and this is going to be the video game folder. And I'm opening that. Let's do another one. This will be, I actually already have the Go High Level one set up. I did a little bit of front end work for the Go High Level one. If you guys aren't familiar with Go High Level, it's a white labelable CRM. It's very popular among small businesses right now because it's white labelable, so you can include it in your service offering. As you can see, I've already got some files in here. These were all created by Claude Code, by the way. I didn't create any of these, but I asked it to create a local environmental variable file so that I could put an API connection in it. So this file already has an API connection with my CRM, which is basically just an uplink channel. So I'm going to have that one open. I'm going to do what other two? Video game operations, to operations, and let's do a final one that is an SOP. SOP proposal creator. So once you have those open, you can copy the path to that folder. Once you get the CLI downloaded, which this is what I'm talking about, not using a chat interface, but using the CLI, you actually open your command prompt on your computer, and then you can do change directory. This is the most important thing to memorize. It's CD, change directory, and then paste in your path to that folder. That opens the path to the folder, and then you can open Claude by typing in Claude. Tell it you trust this. And then let's say I want a runner video game, simple, lightweight, that I can run in the browser. Let me copy this because I already had something up. So that one's running. I can hit Shift Tab to go through the modes. There's an auto mode, manual mode, accept edits mode, and plan mode. I'm going to go to auto mode just because I've come to trust Claude Code so much that I believe that it just runs in the background. One nice thing about Claude Code is if you initialize it in a project folder, it's not going to rampage through your computer. That's a very important security risk, as you can imagine. It might ask to access things outside of its environment, but it'll always ask you first, even in auto mode. And so as long as you put it into a sandbox that you know it can rampage through without, disrupting too much, then I would just put it in auto mode. This is how you get to true parallelism. And then I've never used these things before I started using Claude Code, but it's very useful to initialize multiple Claude Code instances all at once. So let's do the second one. We're going to do the go high level. Change directory, paste in the path, and then initialize Claude. And then we're going to say, we're going to paste this in. So normally, when I initialize a Claude environment, normally I'm just brainstorming with it. You can do Windows H to initialize the voice reader, and so once this actually loads up, sometimes it takes a few seconds, I can just talk into it and it will be typing whatever I say. Here we go. So that's really nice to do. You can also just brainstorm. A lot of times I'm saying, I kind of want to do this. This is what I'm thinking. I definitely need it to do this and not this. Please go in this direction. And another good thing to ask it is, ask me questions back. If you're confused on something, give me questions, hit me with, more depth. I can help you flesh out the plan. Here we go. Act as a sales ops analyst. I will describe or paste my go high level setup, structure, analyze it, brainstorm 4 to 6 high leverage campaign ideas, flag any obvious KPI gaps or tracking issues. I'm going to add to this, build this into an interactive HTML file that has beautiful data visualization of my current state of my CRM. You don't have to use correct spelling. If you do with AI, that's fine. I don't usually. AI is going to know what you mean because it has analyzed every misspelling that has ever existed in all of humanity. And so if you misspell some words, it knows what you mean. And mostly my workflow is get as much prompting done as possible. I have 2 screens and I highly recommend it. If you guys don't have 2 screens, put a monitor, you know, $100 monitor on the side of your laptop or the side of your PC. Get 2 screens. That way you can not be limited to 4 instances on the screen at once, but you can get 8. And with 8 instances all working on different projects, you can get a lot done. Okay. I'm going to quickly initialize the other 2 of these. The Claude, and here's the operations manager. Create a lightweight internal operations dashboard, core features task list with priority and status, simple client project tracker, daily notes, and a blockers section. Keep it clean and functional. Focus on usability for small sales ops teams. I'm going to put that down in the corner here. And the final one, CMD, aka command CD. Let me go grab that last. And I'm doing Control C if you guys don't know that hotkey. That's to copy, and then Control V is paste. Initialize Claude. One thing I found super useful, I actually did this project for a client recently. He said, I want to develop proposals for my sales operations. And I knew that building him an app or a script would be trying to fit all his proposals in a very, you know, strict bucket. And I wanted an AI workflow that would actually work with him, to collaborate with him, kind of feel what he's thinking throughout the process to develop a proposal for a specific client. And so I told Claude Code that we needed to coach a Claude Code instance through that process. And so my Claude Code instance built an SOP, standard operating procedure, in a markdown file. Markdown file is like a fancy text document that AI really loves to use. It has a lot of organizational features, and AI likes to look at it and say, oh, this is what I know, rather than just dumping a bunch of text in it. So a markdown document is kind of the lifeblood of AI context. It built a markdown document that said, when you get initialized, you're going to immediately turn into a proposal creation wizard. The first step is ask for this. The second step is ask for this. And so after that, I had Claude Code build a shortcut that would initialize that Claude Code on the desktop. And I made that shortcut able to be added to the taskbar. And I told it, give it a fun icon. And so it made it a little wizard icon. And I put it on my client's desktop. So it was at the bottom. It was a little wizard. And when he clicked on it, it would open a Claude Code interface, one of these, and it would immediately start asking him questions about this specific proposal that he wanted to create. And it sucked in all of the data. It sucked in all of their branding. It would cross-brand the proposal. And within 5 minutes, he had a proposal that normally took him 50 minutes to build like a really rough Excel document to present in his sales meetings. Now he had a beautiful PDF. I can show you one of those. Oh, wrong button. I don't think he'll mind me giving you a peek at this. Proposal builder. So this is what he got on his computer. And all he had to do is run this new proposal command. By the way, all of the files I'm showing you were not created by me. I'm the idea guy. I'm the vision guy. I just explain my vision to Claude, and it just develops these programs for me. All of the files. If anything can be done with a computer, Claude can do it for you.
Can you do this in the desktop app, in the Claude Code desktop app?
Somewhat. That I wouldn't recommend using Claude Code desktop app. I would recommend using the CLI.
Right.
And the reason being that it gives you a more direct approach to, gives you a more direct connection to the AI, and it can run commands on its own. There's some permission issues with the desktop app that you have to work through.
Right, I know. Okay, cool. I will find some like YouTube tutorials on how to use this one, like how to install. I'm on a Mac. But
Awesome.
I'll take a look. Yeah, thank you so much. I didn't know.
The other option is just ask your desktop Claude Code. I want to use the CLI. CLI stands for Command Line Interface, and that's what
Okay.
lives in your command prompt. So CLI, ask it, I want to get the command Claude Code CLI on my Mac, and then Claude will walk you through it happily. Like any AI
Okay.
platform will tell you exactly how to install it.
Thank you.
I'm going to do this final one. Running those four, I'm going to make sure they're all running. Auto mode, auto mode, auto mode. Okay, so those are all running in the background. Oh, and it already popped up. Here's our video game that it built, Neon Drifter. This was all while we were, chatting about whatever. It built this little video game. Anyway, so there's the first demo, a crash course in getting Claude running on your computer. My main recommendation is just ask AI to help you through it. Tell it what you're seeing. Say, I'm a novice. I don't really know how to open the command. Give it to me like I'm 5 years old, whatever you want to prompt it to give you a step-by-step. And Claude will help you, or Grok or Gemini or ChatGPT will help you get Claude Code CLI downloaded on your computer. You might need Node, so you might need to install something called Node. I don't know how to install Node, but Claude knows how to, and Claude will walk you through the exact steps to do it. Once you download it, it's as simple as initializing it with that Claude command, and then it'll say, you have to initialize this in your browser, go to this website, you have to log in as it, and Claude Code only, I think it costs $20, maybe $40 per month. And so even if your organization isn't paying for it, you might just pay for it yourself in order to save yourself 100 hours in the next month, because it really can multiply your efforts. There's a homebrew path for Apple. So if it starts telling you to download something like Homebrew or install it with Homebrew, that's kind of the classic downloader on the Apple environment. Okay, leveraging Claude Code in sales. So let's talk about some brainstorming that I came up with. Proposal generation, dual branded SOPs. That's one thing we're actually running in the background right now. We're building that. CRM analysis, campaign brainstorming, KPI review. This is another huge thing. If you give a Claude Code instance to your sales reps, they can use it to manage their email. They can use it to track their own sales performance. They can use it, or a sales team leader could use it to build a micro app that he distributes to all of his sales team to help them track their KPIs. A lot of those KPIs are just tracked in a CRM normally, but maybe there's cold calling that you want to track with a mini app that you just send to your sales reps. Custom internal tools, ops apps. This is kind of what I was talking about. Task systems. One of the personal task trackers that I built for myself is what I called Zenith Priorities. This is not me trying to go to market with this app. This is literally an app that I built for myself on my local computer because I wanted to track all of the tasks, all of the sales tasks, all of the dev tasks, and all of my personal tasks across 3 metrics: brevity, urgency, and impact. And so I told it, I want to balance these because sometimes brevity is more important than urgency. Sometimes urgency is more important than impact. And I had it come up with this sophisticated mathematical equation to track those. And then also I added energy cost as a final modifier. And it comes up with a priority score. I can track descriptions. I can add blocking tasks. I can also track, other notes over here in the side. I made an infinite plane. And I also actually connected Claude Code into the app. And so I can chat with Claude Code within my app right here. Hello. So this is my executive assistant, Claude Code. Then you can sort, I can score, you know, I can mark it by unscored only and say, okay, how much urgency does Andrea's bug have? I'm going to say 10. It's an impact of actually probably like 7. These are all subjective scores from, you know, being in my work environment a long time. Simplicity is probably 10 and the modifier 0. So that came out with a priority score of 42. I just have to sort that, and there's Andrea's bug sorted into my priority list. I built that in an afternoon, that entire priorities app. Okay, rapid prototyping of lead magnets, landing pages, email sequences. The other day, I told Claude Code that I wanted it to use my, where is it? Code, Zenith website. So I have a Claude living in my website folder that built my entire website. Show you guys a peek of that really quick. I gave Claude Code my top 10 favorite websites and said, build a website like this. It whipped it up in 20 minutes. And then I said, how do I host this? And it gave me a step-by-step breakdown for how to get it hosted on Vercel, which is free for small projects, for small websites. And I had it tweak all the copy because all the copy it came up with looked like AI. So I told it to switch out a lot of the copy. And then I made a request for this section to have them like floating by. But basically all of the rest of this was just dreamed up by AI, by Claude Code in 20 minutes. And so I told it, okay, you have my branding, you have my colors, my theme, etc. I want you to build an advertisement for a Claude Code webinar. And it whipped up the Claude Code webinar. Oh, and that's the HTML file it came up with. Let's see. Here's the actual ad. It built this in 5 minutes that I used to post on LinkedIn. Used all my branding, etc.
This is crazy. I mean, yeah. And
Turning messy sales call notes. Go ahead.
But you did mention that salespeople can use it as a like a one-stop kind of app for the team.
Absolutely.
I would believe it takes like live data from whatever place, right? So
Yep.
like you don't need to update it all the time. So I'm thinking, you know, for my lead gen agency, maybe we can automate some of the reports with the meetings coming in.
Absolutely. You can actually tell Claude Code to automate itself so that whenever it starts up, it will go analyze the most recent data and give you a report on it. You can just ask it to turn itself into a reporting mechanism. Turning messy sales call notes into structured follow-up or SOPs, building small internal utilities that remove friction for the team. A lot of the SaaS builders I follow on Twitter are talking about the fact that they're replacing all of their software products, their subscription SaaS products, with Claude Code, because Claude Code can do anything a SaaS product can do and more because it's connected into your workflow and it has access to your priorities and your preferences, etc. If you stall, fall back on the last real thing that you shipped. One specific story beats 6 categories. I don't really know what that's about. Personal build showcases. So I already showed you my priority task manager. The custom apartment search tool, I'll show you guys that too. These are all obviously not sales related. I'm just kind of showing you the power of the flexibility of building out random things. And that was in my, I think that's in my personal drive, my real estate. And this is the Grok build apartment search. I actually built this with Grok build, which is trying to overcome Claude Code. I still recommend Claude Code because Claude Code wins today. Grok build is catching up very quickly, but there were some things about the user interface I didn't like, and also it was a bit wonky for my workflow because I've gotten so used to Claude Code. Here's the review board. So I literally dumped in a whole bunch of websites about all of the potential apartments that I could go look at. And I told Claude Code that I wanted to rank them on how nice the view was. I wanted an interactive map that I could drag around. I wanted 2 areas in the city. I live in Rio, so this is Niterói. I wanted to be near the beach or in this like very funky hip area with a bunch of restaurants and bars. And all of these, I can click on them and look through the photos. I can take quick notes. And then this, of course, prioritizes everything down here into cards that I can reject. I can archive them. I can set up notes about the visit day. I can pin the latitude and longitude, you know, if there was an approximate area on the map, but Claude Code didn't really know where to pin it. I can go research it myself and figure out exactly where it is. And then tracking all of the pricing, and you can do filters for yourself. So basically building a custom Airbnb app just for your own personal apartment search. And then finally, Zenith. Zenith is my company. It's LinkedIn outreach software, and the entire backend was built with blood, sweat, and tears by myself over the past 2.5 years.
Oh my God.
The entire front end is vibe coded. I did not code one thing in the front end. So everything you're seeing on your screen right now is vibe coded. And I'm logged in as one of my approvers right now. But all of this beautiful data, wow. One of my apps wants access to Python. So all of this data to like do breakdowns of activity over time, all of the management of all of the outreach that it does, I did everything in Claude Code. And a lot of it is, it's going to come up with a really rough version of whatever you want the first time, and you have to iterate. You have to be able to explain, I want this to be in the corner, not in the middle of the screen. You know, I want this to be different colors. I want it to do this thing. You're building it this way. I want this other thing. You kind of just have to negotiate it like you're yelling at a junior developer. Okay, let's review the 4 builds, next steps, in Q&A. So let's review the work that it came up with. And this is, maximize this really quick so I can grab it. Okay, so our video game, as you guys saw, it was done a long time ago. You do space, W, you can jump, you duck under drones. And I came up with none of this, by the way. You know, I just told it to build a game. You guys saw how I prompted it. So that's the video game. The Go high level, let's see, the exports. Here's the dashboard. So activity is at an all-time high. Meetings booked have gone to 0. I have not been using my CRM very much because I use Zenith a lot more than I use my CRM. 1.9% of all contacts have ever reached out, booked a meeting, 27 out of 1407. That explains everything below, explains where the other 98.1% go. The signal, dial connect rate, LinkedIn reply rate, contacts with an owner, warm with no meeting. Here's a bunch of data about, you know, effort versus result by month. These are all things that I didn't give it, you know, I didn't give it these ideas. I just told it that I wanted beautiful data visualization. Left voicemail, reached voicemail. I guess we have 339 voicemails left. A bunch of opportunity temperatures in here. A lot more cold than I would like. We need to warm those up. Funnel that you actually have. Say it again.
If you need help with our cold outreach.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, we can chat on that later.
No, I'm joking.
Meeting conversion scored on temperature. 4 systems disagree on how many meetings you have. That's an interesting, you know, data conflict within a CRM is rampant for all of you guys who have, I'm sure, used CRMs before. Claude Code can help you fix it. And I gave it a direct line into the CRM. So if I want to tell it, go clean the CRM, it will go clean it just like that. It knows exactly how to interact with those APIs. It knows exactly the commands and the code and the scripts to run. Here's KPI gaps and tracking issues. So any sales leader needs to be using Claude Code to be able to visualize their KPIs, because the CRMs don't do the data justice. There's so much rich data in CRMs that is not being visualized and tapped into until you just give it to AI and say, help me with this. And then it will go review the entire internet, all of the possible breakdowns of how you could look at CRM data, and it'll put it into a beautiful dashboard for you. Pipeline design. So here's some example pipelines that we could create. Campaign ideas. We could do a warm revival with 170 contacts. We could do a replied but never asked. So on the people who have engaged, we could reach out to them. It does why now, how to build, how to measure, and what is expected. And a lot of these things are probably wrong. You know, they're probably rough, very rough hewn ideas, but for idea generation on a sales team or a marketing team, this is unparalleled. Let's look at our operations. Here's an operations dashboard it just built for me. And by the way, if you guys don't remember, this is the input that I gave it. I said, create a lightweight internal dashboard, task list, project tracker, daily notes, and a blockers section. And this is the dashboard. We have tasks, we have clients. This is all within an HTML file. And it can keep a memory. You can tell it to build the file so that it will actually keep a memory of changes you do, notes you take, you know, other things you request. And so you can literally build mini apps for yourself to help track things. These are all filterable. Of course, these are all example clients because I didn't give it any real data. Open tasks. Here's daily notes, what happened today, calls, decisions, follow-ups. And then here's some example notes to show the history. You can even edit it, delete it, show who authored it. And then here's blockers. And if I don't like the theme, I can change up the theme even. Go ahead, Charles.
You ready for the question?
Yes, hit me.
You're the CRO at Paycom. Your CEO has just attended this webinar and is totally excited and has come to you and said, hey, I want you to leverage this throughout the sales organization. Talk to me. How's that going to work?
I would have him first download Claude or get Claude CLI on his computer, because it starts with 1. That's the seed to it spreading throughout the organization. And then basically, I would give it as much context as possible. This goes back to kind of our tagline of this workshop, where context is the oxygen. So you need to give it context of what our systems are, where he feels like the friction is in the sales pipeline, and what is the blockers to actually growing their organization. Leave it open-ended. Tell it to not be biased by what he believes. Tell it to go do its own investigation, and then tell it that we want to roll this out across the organization. Give me some ideas about how we can put this in the hands of our salespeople to make them more efficient. Claude Code will do incredible things with that direction. It will give you ideas that I don't know because I'm not in the Paycom organization. If the CRO gives Claude Code the structure, obviously you want to be careful with security risks because Paycom has a lot of financial, cybersecurity concerns. But a lot of the sales side of Paycom can be siloed, away from their actual app, and say, they have their custom CRM when I was working there, and the CRM was trash. It was terrible. And so you could tell Claude Code, how can we improve the CRM? and it would have a ton of good ideas.
What about the people side? Getting people to use it.
The people side, I would say, is first target the number one brain drain and or time consumer of the salespeople. So there's always, in most sales organizations and, distributed sales teams, there's one thing that is all a massive pain. It might be data entry. It might be follow-ups. It might be, managing their email. Choose the one thing that most of your sales reps are really struggling with, and then show them how you can make it better. If they download this app, give them a demo, say, look, I just downloaded this thing. I asked it to organize my email into priority order. And within 5 minutes, I have all of my email organized. Don't you guys want to do that? I think they'll get excited about the potential of cutting the biggest pain, the biggest rock in their shoe out of their routine.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Interesting challenge.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's what I'm doing every single day. Every single day I have Claude Code instances open. This is what my desktop looks like, I would say 90% of the time. And I'm working with Claude Code to brainstorm better ideas and work through challenges. And a lot of those ideas are human challenges. A lot of them are logistical challenges. A lot of them are dev challenges. A lot of them are operations challenges. But most of the time, if I'm trying to tackle any problem in my workflow, I'm using Claude Code to help me do it. At the very least, to help me organize my ideas into a visual representation of what I want. Okay, and then finally, I think, I already showed you the Grok one. What was the last one that we were building?
The operations, if you show us that.
I showed the operations right here.
Oh, yeah, I think.
Did I show all four?
Yeah, I think it's 4, yeah.
Operations, video game. I showed the go high level CRM analysis. I think the only one I didn't show was the sales SOP creator. And I was going to show you guys actually the PDF that I created.
Yeah,
for
the
that
PDF that he had, yeah.
Yes. So let's go to code. No, this is it's one of my side hustles. He's one of my buddies. So he said, I spend 2 to 3 hours on this per day. And I said, dude, we can get that down to 5 or 10 minutes.
That's awesome. You just planted this idea in my head right now with the CRM dashboard. Yeah, no, that's a very good one.
So actually, I'll just show you guys what this does. If I double click on new proposal, it says starting the proposal builder wizard, and then it starts up Claude Code because I asked it to create a shortcut that would start up Claude Code. And then it sent this command, begin the proposal builder wizard now per claude.md. That's one of those markdown files.
Right.
Greet me and show the menu. And so it says, good evening, Michael. I also gave it a character because I wanted it to be more fun. So I said, pretend you're an elderly wizard.
Oh, God.
Bartholomew Quill at your service, quill sharpened and maps unrolled. Let's chart your territory. And so do we want to start a new proposal or resume a proposal? And I can just say, I can either type in a 2, but it's AI, so it can work with anything. So I could say, let's work on Del Taco. And now it's going to open up this proposal. But let me actually show you. When we create a new proposal, it automatically builds a prospect file. So basically, he's just working now with Claude Code in the CLI interface, telling it the name, telling it what kind of proposal it is, where the data is. I had it build an inbox so that he could just dump a bunch of data in it that he gets from his databases. So this is like new mover and birthday demographics data. And then Claude processes it and outputs a PDF, an Excel file, which is beautifully formatted, I might mention. And if I open this PDF, it's just a beautiful proposal PDF that summarizes all of the data that he would have put in Excel. to present to his client. And he was not good at formatting Excel, I might mention. It was kind of an ugly Excel spreadsheet that he was showing to clients. And so this blows their socks off, not to mention it also wrote the proposal email for him. So all he has to do is copy this proposal email, copy the subject line, send it to the client, and attach that proposal PDF. 5 minutes, what would have taken him 50 minutes before, and it looks way more professional and it's way more personalized, and you can actually tell it to co-brand it. So use their branding and our branding.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, so I have pretty much reached the end of my workshop. If you guys want to try and get it installed on your computer really quick, and if you run into any problems, I'm happy to help. Or if you have any questions after my presentation.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan. I did want to ask
Absolutely.
you some questions, but they're very personal to my own needs, so I can let other people go first.
Yeah, sure.
No, most of mine is around change leadership within an organization to have them adopt and leverage AI. And
huge.
the cross-generational resistance.
Mm.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So not for you to answer, but that's kind of where a lot of the things I'm looking at is
Yep.
we roll out this technology versus other technologies. And as I work with chief revenue officers on how to approach that.
I think
Yes.
it's a lot with human psychology, that, Charles. I think you need to look into why do people embrace change or make a change? Because like usually when you make a change is because the pain is of doing a thing is too much to bear, as in like even when it's personal. You would invest in a cause because you want the results so badly that you don't want to live in this state anymore, and you just, go for it. I think with the AI, I think it's unfortunately, the only way to make it scale at an organization side would be negative emotions such as pain and fear that people will get like, we need to do it. No, honestly, like we need to do it because we have so much to lose, like our jobs are on the line or our performance is on the line. I think at an organization level, you have to link it to something that it's very important to them. So what I'm trying to say is that if they feel like they will lose something, they will embrace it. If they feel they will win something, you'll get some people excited, and you have some 1-2 weeks of them actually using it. But when it's linked to, if you're not doing this, then the consequence can be this. I think that's how you'd get it as a, you just need to go back to human psychology, and it's a very basic thing. Unfortunately, we're like weird animals.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Oh,
for
it
that
is what it is.
perspective.
Yeah, no problem.
Something I might add, Charles, is make it so easy to use that a monkey could do it. And
Yeah.
one thing that I would strongly recommend is ask Claude Code to make a shortcut that you can put on the taskbar. And that's a very short prompt. Make this program into a shortcut that I can put on the taskbar. Give it a fun icon. Because across the bottom here, you see Notion, you see Brave, that's a browser, Superhuman. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Those are all, well, the first one is a program that priorities program. The rest of these are just Claude. I click on this and it opens up a Claude terminal in my project folder. And so I can immediately start typing in that project and collaborating it with it to demonstrate something or visualize something or build out a new feature. And that idea of just saying, build this Claude into a shortcut that has a fun icon that I can put on my taskbar, and it'll put it on the desktop often, and then you just drag it down to the taskbar. If you can get your IT department of your sales team to do that on all of their computers, so they have a little icon they can click on and immediately start talking to a much more powerful AI integration than the web chat, then I think you'd get a lot more uptake.
Okay.
Awesome. Any other questions?
I have one.
Go for it.
So, so just back to the CRM. I'm actually thinking of offering this as part of my lead gen service, because I know loads of sales guys are struggling with that. And I think it's going to make me different than what other outbound agencies are offering. Just trying to like make my product as outstanding as it can be. So if I were to offer this, would I need to build this on their Claude Code on their desktops?
Yes, and you could do it similar to what I did for this client where I built him the proposal builder. What
Okay.
I did was once I built the proposal builder and I tried it and it was working
Yeah.
well on my computer, I told Claude Code to package it up into a zip file with an instruction file about how to unpack it and set it up on his computer. So he didn't have to set up anything. And this is another thing for you to think about, Charles, to set up that desktop icon. You can actually build an instruction for Claude Code to set up that desktop and give it a fun icon and put it on the taskbar. And then all you have to do is get them to open Claude Code anywhere on the computer and point it at that instruction file.
That's incredible. So I build it on mine, and all he has to do is install that, give that zip file to his Claude Code locally, and that's it, safe to go.
Yep.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, thank you. Have you been recording this? So are you sending like info on how? Okay,
Yes.
great. So I can just have a play with this tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Then, do you know how the tokens work in this instance? Like when I build, obviously it's gonna be like my token build, but then it's gonna work on his end, right?
It'll be using his subscription to Claude. And once you realize how powerful Claude Code is and how it's like a team of developers, working 24/7, I was hitting the limits every single day. So now I pay for the $200 per month
Same.
Claude Code subscription. You do too. Wonderful.
Great.
It's very easy to fall into that, but I don't have to hire, $10,000 per month worth of a dev team, because I can get done what $10,000 might buy me to hire an entire team of developers.
Yeah, but you know why?
Why?
Because you're very passionate about it, because you actually like this job. And when people go like, oh, AI are gonna take our jobs, yeah, maybe some people will do it themselves, but some people will definitely hire someone else to just do it. You know what I mean? And I really loved your workshop and your energy, and I really think you're very passionate about this, and it makes me very happy.
Thank you. Yeah,
No
I
worries.
describe AI as an escalator. If you don't get on right now, you're going to fall way behind everyone else.
Yeah.
But if you get on, you're going to be way ahead of everyone else. The thing is, everyone's panicking about jobs being taken away. I actually just saw a Wall Street Journal article that said that they're hiring again. There's a surge of hiring right now post AI boom. I would say that the escalator is going to be there in 5 years. If you haven't caught the boat on AI, you're going to be able to catch it in 5 years. But the guys that got on the escalator 5 years ago are going to be way ahead of you. And so it's all about growing the pie. It's not about, clamoring over the slices of.
Exactly. I mean, for my agency, we do lead gen. So I still get people to respond to my outbound, because not everybody has, replaced their SDRs completely with AI, or they need that, bump in sales without them having to manage all this. I mean, it's still here now. Who knows? Maybe next year they'll be like, nah, we're fine in-house. We don't need like lead gen agencies. But at the moment, I think if you're smart enough to, use AI in the ways that will help you and your clients, I think you wouldn't worry about outsourcing out lead gen.
Yep.
Well,
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a few questions if you don't mind, but if anybody wants to drop off, maybe you'll find these questions also interesting. I'm also at the good to see you.
Bye-bye. I'll be
I
here.
Thanks for joining, guys.
I'm staying.
I'm at the other end of the spectrum for where Charles is, where I'm inspiring and supporting incoming college students in a business school.
I love
So
this.
yeah, it's really, we're doing our best to try to keep up with the changes in AI and to make sure that the students are using the tools, gaining confidence, competence. And one of the, so I have some questions just about your own personal development, Ryan, and maybe Andrada, you want to jump in too, because you
Sure.
did start with AI tools after you already had an understanding of your, how to create a lot of these things your own and spend the 50 hours to do it. And now you're having AI do a lot of it for you. So one of the questions I'm wondering is, how has your own prompting process or pattern changed in the last couple of years, or maybe even with Claude Code? That I noticed, for example, you give it a role, and that is something that I've heard is a good idea, but it's not something I've typically done. It's more on the restrictions rather than role.
Yeah.
And, give it context, objective, restrictions, examples instead of role and examples. But that is, I'm wondering about your prompting strategies, and maybe specifically if you dive into the change on role.
Sure. For role, especially for this one, this proposal
Mhm.
builder, that was mostly just for me to make it more whimsical and fun for him. He's
Okay.
not so savvy. So I didn't want it to be, I wanted it to be more engaging for him, kind of like he had a personal assistant, because I really wanted him, who I know is not as tech savvy, to talk to it like a personal assistant. I didn't want him to have to get everything perfect that he was talking to it
Okay.
about. I didn't want the one thing I've evolved in my prompting is I've gotten a lot less formal. I kind of just jabber down exactly what I'm thinking, train of thought feel. I definitely try to give it my entire vision at once, because if I
Yes.
start giving it my vision, even though I'm saving some vision for later, context is oxygen. It will go on tangents that you did not expect it to go on, that it has to roll back entirely because it didn't have your full vision.
And then you're
And so-
basically saying, scroll all the way up. So
Exactly.
let's start again here. I agree
Yeah.
with that too. As much context as possible. And you must have learned that over time when you did get unused or not useful results.
Bingo. And then
I wa-
the only other time that I specifically tell it to actually step into a role when talking to me is when I'm managing a big marketing challenge, and I kind of lay out for it, okay, here's what I'm doing in marketing, here's what I'm struggling with, here are my ideas, can you help me brainstorm?
Ask
And then
me
I might say,
questions. Yeah.
I might say, step into the role of my CMO.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that will prompt it. Oh, I'm the CMO. Okay, this is what I recommend. This is what, it lays it out more in the format of a CMO would, rather than an AI, which might give you too much data or too little data. So those are the only times. Usually I say, be an executive in this capacity. Give me feedback on this thing. But I would say most of the time, I'm not even giving it a role. I'm just brain dumping to it. This is what I want. This is my vision. Please try and come up with a semblance of this, and then we'll work together to iterate from there. And iteration is the name of the game.
This webinar that I mentioned next Monday that has over 2,000 people in it, it's the first day of an online class for all the incoming Kelly freshmen. And I'll be introducing AI tools. So I was like, this is a lot of pressure. I hope I do this the right way. And we have a Gen AI 101 class at Kelly. I don't know if you know about it. It's
Awesome.
online and it's
It's
free. If you want to take a
great.
look at it, it's open to the public, but it
Cool.
does use the prompting strategy that includes role. And I was like, I don't like it. So then when you used it, I thought, oh, maybe it's just me then. So I appreciate your perspective on that. It's a really micro thing, but I want to make sure that if I disagree with the campus, that I have a good reason for it. I also wonder, do you think as you gain more fluency using Claude Code and other tools, do you already feel yourself losing some competence yourself?
No. No, I would say I'm learning a lot every single day.
Yeah.
The reason is because when I'm using Claude Code, I read everything it says. You know, and so
Yeah.
I'm not typing in a prompt, and I don't recommend anyone types in a prompt and then just wish for the best. And like I did today, just look at the result.
That's
What
me.
I recommend is you go up.
Well,
usually-
sometimes you said, and now you can just copy paste this and your email is done. And I was like, oh, I think I'll
Yeah.
read it
No.
first.
No,
Okay.
usually it's so this is all it's working. This is
Yeah.
all it working. And then at the end, it will give you a report, built-in verified. I
Yeah.
always read this entire
Yeah.
thing. If I don't understand a part of it, if I'm like, wait, what the heck was this? I copy that and paste it down and say, explain this part of it. Like I don't continue on the project until I understand exactly what it did, why it did it, and how it affected the result. And I have become, I wasn't a programmer in college. I got
Yeah.
a sales degree at Kelly. And I literally am a programmer today because I have asked AI to code for me. And then I did everything I could to understand why it did what it did and
Yeah.
what it did actually. And that turned me into a programmer. Today I could program, you know, rudimentary programs. I'd rather use Claude Code because I can get it done like that. But I can review code. I know exactly the logic behind it. I know why it does what it does. Object-oriented programming is a fundamental that I learned through AI.
So
And so
knowing
that's my-
that your trajectory, Ryan, if you went back to beginning of freshman year, but it's now, and all these tools exist, if you can try to put yourself in that mindset, how might you ensure that you have the confidence that you have now in the future instead of you never let yourself get it?
I would, the number one recommendation I can make is skip one night at Kilroy's and get yourself a monthly subscription to Claude Code and start using it every day for personal stuff. Don't
Yeah.
use it for school. Don't use it for business. Just play around with it. Build some video games. Build some personal apps that make your own usage of your computer more luxurious or whatever you want. But start using it now every single day. The more you use it, the more adept you'll become with it, the more fluent you'll become with it. It's like using any tool or learning a new language. You know, the more you use it, the more proficient you'll be. And
Yep.
when it comes time in your job and they say, can you do this task? You'll immediately be thinking, how can I get this done in a quarter of the time with Claude Code? And that is the first thing you should be thinking.
Yeah. And
I
you
have
do think that you would have still ended up being able to review Claude's output effectively? Or do you think if you started with it really early, you might have made yourself the subordinate to Claude Code because you were 18 years old? And so you started with a really powerful manager instead of
Yes.
junior engineer.
Part of that's my personality. I'm a very curious person. So
Yeah.
I want to know what it's doing. I
Yeah.
want to learn why. I know the type of person you're talking about, though. That's
Right.
a lot of people that struggle to challenge themselves. And I think that is the key to it is they need to appreciate the discomfort of not knowing something and be curious enough to figure it out themselves. And if they're waiting to be spoon-fed it, just making it a rule for them, a personal rule, and having them like sign a personal contract in their own brains that I will read everything that it says and I will ask questions to it. That'll get them halfway there at least, or 3/4 of the way there. Have them commit to not giving up their autonomy and their agency and their critical thinking.
Yeah.
Because I do agree that that is the biggest risk we're going to have, especially with the new generation that is currently in middle school and high school that is starting to use AI to write all their papers and answer all their questions. And they're giving up their own autonomy.
And
And
I've
so-
had young people say, I don't even know what my own voice is yet. And now AI is writing with a voice. And I wonder, is that my voice? I don't know.
How
But
is
they
that?
really, yeah.
How is that?
Andrade,
feel- Yeah, I have a question for you actually, because I'm
Mhm.
I'm a fan of education, right? I'm a Romanian girl. I moved to the UK. I studied in the UK marketing, advertising, and PR. Worked in the UK. Funnily enough, the first agency I worked for, we were doing student recruitment from around the world for my own uni, and I was incredibly happy. But then they switched me to being an account manager for Deloitte, and I wasn't as happy. I mean, you know, big fours. Question for you: how is AI? Because back in my uni days, how we didn't have AI, and how are you controlling? You know, before we had like a plagiarism tool. Like if you would copy and paste from the internet, you would get like downgraded and like absolutely marked down. And you know, how is it how is AI regulated right now in universities? Is there a way for you guys to catch that?
We're in a transition period for sure. And so I was an early adopter. It didn't mean that I was I progressed fast, you know, farther than anybody else, but I did start using the AI tools and incorporating them in my classes in January 23, just as soon as they were available. I was like, we're going to use these. And the students were really grateful for it.
What about their papers? I was just talking about like,
because that's what I teach. I teach business writing. So it is a writing course. And you know, maybe you have heard this too, that if in this era right now, if a student can come into your class and do the projects and exams in seconds with AI,
right,
you're teaching it the wrong way. So we're really flipping everything we're doing into a new way of thinking. But this is, I kind of wish that Charles were still here, because I know that this is what he's dealing with right now. Is so many of us have been doing this for a really long time, myself included, and we want it to stay the way it was. I actually am not like that. And so Ryan, when you listed off what you described yourself, I'm like, yeah, I'm totally down for all of these same changes. As soon as I heard about ChatGPT, I was like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened in my life. Oh my gosh.
I love this.
My colleagues did not feel that way, but I didn't even consider that people would be upset about it. So I got to the beginning of the semester of 23, January 23, I got to give a presentation to all my colleagues about it, because I had just like dug in, you know, it was new. And by the end of the presentation, they all had changed their minds to, okay, we're excited. But I think there were 7, it's like 10% of us that were like, no, I'm never going to use it. And now they have to. So it's, at first, Kelly gave us time to try to figure it out ourselves. But as of this year, 2026, you have to incorporate and welcome AI tools.
Yes.
And you need to think like a teacher and think of, how can I actually teach the goals of my class in this era? I cannot forbid these tools, but I also can't just let the students shortcut their own learning.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested too on people who transitioned into this era from the workplace. If you look back to, how do you do it the right way? Knowing, as you were mentioning, Ryan, there are a lot of people who don't feel like you. So we are trying to, you know, and I'm thinking about it a lot, how to create projects that you have to use AI. You know, yours, you had to, you could. If you tried to do all these things that you just did in 15 minutes, you'd never have your own life at all. And your life would be super boring too, because you just be like, tap, 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 tap. What I've told my students is, you are the first people who are starting your careers in a management role. And you have an assistant that can do all of the drudgery work that, honestly, Ryan, Andrada, it sounds like you went through this when you graduated. Your first job was so boring. You were at your computer all the time.
It was not boring. I'm telling you, it was not boring. It was, you know what? Is this being recorded?
Oh, we can stop. We can stop if you want.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. I was just put in a situation where I was just fresh out of uni. And I became a sales manager, a social media manager in like 2 months because of the circumstance. So there was a lot of pressure on me, but it wasn't boring. It was everything and anything but boring. It was a very good learning curve. I think that really made me want to start my own agency. I only worked full time for three years, almost, not even 2 years and 7 months. So then it was just
And this
like,
is what I'm hoping happens for our students, that they see I can do anything. I can start my own
Yeah.
business. When we did a promptathon event in April, it's a really fun event where we also incorporated assistants from consultants that came in. They were all Kelly alumni, and a really interesting AI event in a competition format like we do at Kelly all the time. And afterwards, we got to go out with these consultants who had volunteered and had a really good talk. And all of them said, in the last 6 months, and some of them was like within the last 2 months, but it was all within the last 6 months, I have started to use Claude Code and other advanced AI tools to create a side gig that just in case the consulting thing kicks me out at some point, because that could happen. I'm junior here and I don't know that my job is secure. I'm starting another thing like you guys have done where I could lose my job and just go, well, good thing that Claude was making another business for me on the side. So it's one of the things I'm going to suggest to these students when I get to talk to them Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday is really the day we talk about AI, is they should get Claude on the side, pay $20 for it a month. It's cheaper than a couple of coffees, and then start to build something, play with it, build something, and then know that, if you're worried, will I have a job when I graduate? Who cares?
Who cares?
Build your own thing.
oh my God, I love how we drive this like forward. I love it because I was made to go on a placement year, which I didn't want to do, and I didn't do a placement, and everyone was applying for a grad scheme, and I thought I shouldn't, and I didn't. And I ended up applying for jobs in June, and it was just like, a tough time to apply after
It would be.
after graduation. Exactly. But in 1 month I had my job, which is great. It all aligned. But yeah, I love this. I really think you're great.
2 ideas for you for AI activities that students could do to advance their abilities in AI. The first one is you have to build something incredibly cool and complex. How cool can you make it? How complex? What problem does it solve? Because they won't be able to code something, that like a dashboard, but Claude Code can do it. And so that'll force them to flex that muscle and practice iterating, and they could show what it looked like the very first time it was developed, and then what it looked like at the very end. And so you can compare, the iterations of it. You could have give them an instruction MD document that says log all of the iterations, so that Claude Code will actually log the iterations and what they changed, and so you can actually see their progress. And of course, the smart ones can say, oh, make up a whole log document of what I changed. But at least that's getting them along the lines of building something. And then the other thing that is directly related to my business, which is human in the loop of AI writing, because AI, a lot of people can see right through how AI writes. And so the challenge for me and other sales professionals is how can I use AI to write business copy? And then what is the fastest way to massage it to make it more human, more casual, more personable, so that people will actually engage in it instead of just having their eyes glaze over. And so this is an idea for you, instead of saying to your students, okay, write a business paper, you could say, here's a business paper written in AI, write it so that it doesn't sound like AI.
Yeah.
Which is kind of evil because they have to read it very closely. One of my favorite writing classes was we had to write something, and then she would point out all of the ways that it was bad. And so my entire paper was covered in red ink. And then I would have to rewrite the entire paper, but she didn't just circle things and say, write this differently. She would show me how to make it stronger. And I give her all of the credit for being the writer that I am today because she showed me exactly how to change it. I think there's going to be something like that in future challenge of making AI writing not sound like AI, which could be adding spelling errors, and it could be adding.
We've talked about that.
Yeah, it could be adding TBD instead of like shorthand, millennial speak instead of spelling everything out and being very flowery, which AI often does.
And these are the types of things we're doing in our class now that we didn't used to do. Is look at a sample and say, why do you think AI wrote it? I have examples. I don't say that yet. I was just like, why do you think I didn't respond to this email? And so I'll show it. And then they look at it and they wonder, did somebody offend me? Did it not relate to me? And then eventually I'm like, clearly AI wrote it. Why do I think so? And then we have a good talk about it. How could that be prevented? I love your idea of now build something that will humanize your own writing as you use AI tools, and create a prompt library that you have designed yourself and you run everything through it. This is probably like a little more thing that I can throw to you that I think you'll also like. I appreciate these 2 student AI activities. I wrote them down. That when we talked to, still there. Yes. Oh yeah. Thanks. I had moved it all over so that you guys are in the middle.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. When we talked to those consultants after the promptathon, and they said, we all have a side gig that we're working on, blah, blah, blah. They also said that something you can tell your students, but it'll probably scare the crap out of them, but you can still tell them anyway, is we're no longer hiring a lot of junior consultants. We're hiring a few. And in the first human interview, the first interview is now an AI interview, but in the first human interview, we ask them, what's something that you've created with AI? Yeah. And then when they say it, we say, show it to me now.
Yeah.
And so show it and then say, okay, teach me how you made it, but in as short a period of time as you can. And so that's
awesome.
And then they say, and if we hire you, first thing we're going to have you do is sit down with one of our VPs and teach them. Could you?
I love it. I love it.
And so I was like, oh, I'm definitely telling this to my students on Tuesday. And then we had a good talk about it in class. So I'm going to lead with that this year. Now that I know that these are some of the changes that are happening, the job market is becoming more competitive, but at the same time, it is more interesting. When most of our students graduated, I've been teaching at Kelly since '99. Longer than you guys have been alive, right? That's something like that.
I was born
right around there.
I'm born in 95. I was 5 when you started.
Okay. So in all of those years, the students that I supported, brilliant people. I've been teaching honor students for 20 years too, and they are amazing. And their first jobs were doing exactly what AI can do now.
Yes.
And so I tell my students on day one, you're not going to have to do that. That is amazing. But that also means you've got to be a manager level by the time you graduate. You can't be at the low entry level and be like, I'll just be quiet and in my cubicle and I hope everything goes well. So you have to be a leader that can sit down with the VP and teach them how you made your AI tools.
Yep.
So that's cool.
That is very cool.
They get 4 years to transform themselves, just like you did.
Yes.
I love this. Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the work.
Thank you for talking with me and your input too. It meant a lot to me. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I think you're great. I think you're moving things forward. I think you're giving people a new way of thinking, and it's great to see this in education, because usually when someone gets into the traditional university path, they will immediately think about, I need to get a traditional sort of job. Yeah. And I wouldn't imagine a professor thinking the way you do, and I really respect that. So well done.
Same here.
Well, there are definitely out of the box thinkers like the two of you, and they need a good path too. So I love that we've got some that are going to be like big four, and then we have you guys.
Well, you know what? Yeah, but as well, them, they kind of get stuck, and they come to me and say, I have a friend, she's in HR and she works for one of the big fours. And 5 years ago, when I was in London, I taught her how to get some jobs on Upwork. She was writing CVs for people before AI.
Mhm.
And she was saying to me how much I've helped her. Like, she paid her uni degree with that money. And she said that she wants to do that business to pursue it, but she never took the risk. So she's like kind of doing it on the side, but still keeping her big full job and just for security. But it's all a lie because she can't just embrace the new identity. So I think some people like get the taste of it, they just want to get a little bit of money, but they're too afraid to make the change. So we're
Some of
always
it is in the US, people are locked in by the healthcare system, and that's wrong. It's immoral. So I'm really glad that you guys are in Brazil. And you're in the
Romania.
UK? You're in Romania,
I'm
back in Romania.
yeah,
I could see
yeah.
it was dark at where you were when we started.
I don't like light, so apologies for like the lag. So at least when I talk,
I just
want-
figured you were probably in Europe just based on lighting.
She is in Europe, but she works all the time. So everyone's like, "Are you working like US hours?" I'm like, "I'm working from the moment I wake up until I go to bed." So I don't know what hours I am working.
Well,
At least you're in Rio.
Did you two know each other before this call?
No,
Well,
saw.
let me hang up so you get to just exchange contact info because I think you have a lot in common. You got it.
We had. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Jeanette.
Ryan, we have a call tomorrow, right? Fine.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
My
tomorrow. I think I
calendar,
put myself
my
on
life.
yours.
I think so. Yes, we do.
Yeah,
That'd be
we can
fun.
talk tomorrow if you want. We can talk about the platform. I'm very curious to see how that would work. And just so you know, for tomorrow, I've been using HeyRich.
Yep.
And now I'm using, I'm not using anything. I'm just like manually connecting
Oh,
for
gosh.
myself, for my own. No, it's a system. I'll tell you all about it.
Okay, I want to hear. But yeah, HeyReach is kind of bottom of the barrel spam outreach, in my opinion. HeyReach, Phantom Buster, Dripify, Duck Soup, they're all spam bots. And I think you'll like Zenith.
Yeah, I want to see that. And yeah, I'll meet you tomorrow so you can talk to me about it, how it works. And, for myself, maybe for my clients as well, when we have some new things coming up. And also great workshop on the CRM thing. I think I'm gonna.
Thank you for joining.
Do you know what? Like whenever you have ideas, be like, "Hey Andrade, I build this," or "Hey Andrade, I think you can offer this," because I'm in this stage where I'm rebuilding my offer in my pitch deck, and I want to become super different from all the other agencies. I had this annoying call with someone. It's like, "How are you different, Andrade?" And I wasn't prepared at all. It's like, and I was like, I fucked it up. But also that call, but that call taught me it's time to just look into my methodology, which I already knew it's a bit different. Like I'm using signals and stuff like that. I didn't have this idea of the dashboard, but now I do. So I want to do I want to be the Dalmatian in a pool of Labradors.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And that idea of just saying, I will build a mini app on your own computer that you can leverage with AI. That's a huge differentiator because no one knows how to use AI these days. We're at the front of the wave, before everyone starts using it.
I'm so glad we connected, Ryan. Your brain is worth millions. You need to say that affirmation to yourself every single day so you can make more money and meet more clients because you're onto something.
Thank you. And I really appreciate you joining today. It was really fun to get to know you.
Oh, thank you so much. Cool. I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow.
Ciao.
See you, Andrade.